Okay, and let's see, we called to order at 12:07. Got to follow it's been so long since we've done an in-person meeting. I just feel like
It's been 2 years.
I know, it's crazy. So then we'll turn it over to our chair. Surprise! And the agenda, you can just go down that.
So, do we actually have enough to approve the minutes?
We can just roll them to the next one since we don't have enough attending. The minute approval is interesting because since it's recorded, it's like you can't really make changes, but we'll roll that forward to the next meeting.
Okay. Do we have any updates on the utility boxes?
Yes, Snelson Labs took all of the art pieces that Cassie sent for her second box in SCERA Park. I mean, she just did a whole bunch of little pieces and we need to assemble it into one big piece. And so Mike Snelson is working on that. Christian from the city manager's office is working with Nate Prescott to have the landing site. He said it is almost done where artists can apply, submit their art, and it will actually be able to kind of see how it would fit into a template so that the representation of like how your art would fit would be there, is my understanding. I am not involved in the creation of the website, but I will certainly take a look at it. And I know John Reinhardt will want to participate in that too. And then what I'm hoping to do is to maybe bid or let a vendor know that we have these 10 boxes and we'd like to do it in one transaction so that maybe they would be motivated to take on multiples if they knew that they were getting multiple.
Are you going to do a care request with the care funding, or just do this through other avenues?
We have a backlog of care funding that we need to use up, so I think we will use that up this year and then go forward with another one maybe next year.
Okay, sounds good.
So that's really what I know. I know John has been working with Nate Prescott and they've been talking to Utopia and other folks about getting more of a blanket memorandum of understanding about box use. And so they've been working forward on that. And I am pushing Nate and Christian because we're getting warmer. So it's ready. We need to be ready to start doing the vinyl. So hopefully we will have even more of a real update for that at the next meeting and maybe even some actual boxes vinyled by then.
If I need to make a call to Roger Timmerman at Utopia, since I've been on their board before, to kind of get that going, that would be good.
I felt like they were getting good progress there,
Okay.
so I think it's good, but I'll double check that. I'll double check that with them, but we're off on the schedule. Sometimes they don't work on this Friday because they work a 9:80 schedule, so they're off every other Friday, and it just happens to fall on the Arts Council one. But there will be more of an update on that for sure, and hopefully some real progress. And then the city council is kind of squaring up boards and commissions. We've been asked to take recommendations for appointees through our city council liaison. And I just printed out who has applied, what we have in the hopper, so that others could weigh in. And then I usually contact those who are maybe recommended to just explain the schedule and other things that may or may not allow them to participate. And then we'll get them on the city council's agenda to be appointed. So these are all that we have in the works. I'm sorry the last two wouldn't let me print out their application in real application. So there's 2 pages for each of them. One just showing their name and contact information, and then one showing their little bit of a write-up.
I think these look like really good candidates. And you said we have probably 3 spaces and we need 2.
I would do 4, and then we would hold the 5th one for an applicant that Cindy Clark, who's retiring from the Arts Council, has talked to about taking on student art priorities and the Orem Stories project.
She's really good.
Yeah.
So you want four names out of this pile?
Yeah, for now, and then if we have more, we can go back to it, but we would take 4 to the council for appointment. And
So
then.
does anyone know these people or has encouraged someone to apply? Would you please let me know?
This Law Bean says she's a professor at UVU in the theater department. You're looking for theater, you're looking for painter, artist.
Well, we've lost dance because Kate Monson has retired. Bart Francis was on doing, more certainly visual art, and I don't know if he was big into sculpture, but he was definitely representing art in that way. So I think that some firepower in the visual art is always good, but we could always use more music or theater because you just never know what's coming up that people might want to participate in or pitch. I know that Scott Swain came to city council meeting last time and talked about applying for the council, and then he had some ideas for Saturday music in the park. And I did talk to him about some of the challenges that we might face with that, given budget and just kind of logistics and things like that. I'm hoping that maybe we could land on a compromise of providing music in the farmers market. The farmers market is, it sets up in City Center Park. It's been pretty successful. They've moved it from the south side of the park to the north side of the park, and I think they will keep it there because the participants liked it. They have food trucks, they have food booths, they have vendors they're selling, and it starts at a compatible time and runs a little later than the summer concert series. And they've actually been looking for some way to add a music component to it. So I think that might be a great opportunity, but he was looking to do some more things at like maybe SCERA Park, and I explained some challenges with budget and other things. But so I know he's very anxious to join the Arts Council.
Well, he does the Cries of Freedom, right, during the Colonial Day. That's why I know him, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's very well respected. I know when he came to talk to our council, several of the members knew him. So, he's someone we could certainly consider. You said you know this Mike Smith and encouraged him. He looks like a really good. Let's see. This Ron Garrett is 30 years as agency design and art gallery. Designing, having a designer, that sounds like that might have some appeal related to advertising. Is that a need we have? I guess that's the question I'm asking.
If you need an audio-visual guy, this Alan Wilbur, who's user-fast, created and run many festivals, and an audio-video engineer, and design and build theaters. We got a lot of performing arts, a lot of theater.
That certainly would bring great value.
Let's see.
This Keith Lawrence looks like he's a professor of English at BYU. He's also volunteered at Kids on the Move in SCERA.
Shelley, do you know when my term's up?
I can look.
Never.
What? I'll give you, you can be on two.
It's 6 years, but we're not being as hard and fast on that.
4-year and then a 3-year.
They're 3
They're
years.
3-year terms, renewable. and then-
I'll look it up just as soon as I stop I'm using my phone to record, and I will fail the mission if I don't end up with one recording with these two devices.
Yeah.
So,
And then this Alex Malone looks like he's the executive director of the Norda Center for Performing Arts at Utah Valley. That also would have someone who's got some, good contacts, I would think.
Ron Garrett said he's on the art board.
I think he's applying for the art board,
Oh,
AKA the Arts Council.
well, yeah, it says what commission are you applying for, Arts Council? Summarize why you wish to serve on the commission.
That one has a lot less information.
Yeah,
there's not a whole lot
it's a
there.
bit succinct.
So does anyone know, besides Mike, and I know Scott, is there anyone else who knows any of these other people? I kind of like the idea of getting a woman or two, just because I feel it gives us some good diversity. It's not a hard and fast rule, but we're replacing Kate and Cindy and
Bart, and then Carol Miller from
Okay.
long ago.
This Levine, I like her name. What do you think about someone like this who's got some theater? Probably bring,
Lacey Walter. Again, performing arts.
So, are we just informational?
what you're doing is you're giving me information and I will make the recommendations to the council.
Okay.
So I'm asking for 4 names. I've got a couple in mind here, but I guess I'm asking for the top 5 and then I'll probably, but I would like at least 1 or 2 women. So I guess I'll look at the women. Barn, Lacey, and Love.
We didn't get a whole lot of women applied for this. Lobbying.
Okay, Barbara Cooper. She's an RN. She doesn't like to volunteer, which is lovely. Lacey. Looks like she loves arts and she's currently rehearsing to be in a play. And then Levine, it's like, I guess the strongest art person I would say would be Levine, just looking at the background of what they're saying.
Performing arts, it's sad to lose Cindy and lose all of our
Kate,
artists
yeah.
off the council.
I guess I would probably, just based on strength of application, think Levine would be the one that I would put forth. Are you comfortable?
She looks really
Yes.
good. And then there's Adam, but that's a whole nother story.
Adam made me mess with these people. Adam, we're looking at,
Adam likes being in a lifelong commitment to the Arts Council.
we like him being a lifelong.
The handcuffs.
What we're,
The golden
going through
handcuffs.
is we've got 4 openings on the Arts Council, and we've got several, I don't know what our total applications are, many. And I'd like about 4 or 5 names to put forth of people. We've just been talking about,
Yeah, Nikki's last ones, they don't print correctly, so it's there on the first one, we go blurb on the second page.
and so I'll give you a minute, but so far Michael Smith is someone that has been
I'm just
recruited.
looking at names right now to see if I know any of them.
Okay.
Alex is good. He's the director of the NORDA.
Yeah, we did look at him.
Alex Moore.
Do you know this,
Mike Ramsey is an actor. His son just came off Broadway.
do you know Levine from UVU Theater Department?
I know that name.
Okay.
What we're noticing that there's a whole lot of performing arts people that have applied, and not a whole lot of visual arts. We lost a lot of artists off the council.
Yeah, we have. This, so this guy's fine arts, Michael Smith. Is that why you like? Yeah, he's chair of the fine arts at Hamden Hall. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of people I know Mike Ramsey, I know Alex Malone, and I know Scott Swain. Alex would be great just because he's not from Utah. He located here because he got the job. director of the NORDA. Great guy. We've met several times.
Barry actually recruited Michael Smith to apply, and thought he came with strong recommendation. Do you want to explain
Well,
that?
he did apply for the Arts Council a few years back, but we didn't have any openings at the time. And so I was just talking to him a few weeks ago, and I said, hey, Mike, we got 3 or 4 openings on the council, so I would encourage you to apply again. He's, like I say, he's been in the arts for his entire life. He and his wife are both actors as well. His wife was just in Over the River to the Woods. Is that what
Oh,
Gail
yeah.
was just at? She was one of the grandmas in that show.
That was hilarious.
And they're retired, so they have time. Or he has time to do stuff.
Where is Hamden Hall Country Day School?
That's a good question. That's a Google.
30 years.
Yeah.
So wherever they're from would be there.
Hamden, Hamdon. Hamden.
HAMDEN. I mean, it doesn't matter where it is, it's just he was there for 30 years, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think, if you recommended him and encouraged him, that would be
Yeah.
very discouraging to
No,
not.
he's in my yes pile.
Connecticut.
Oh, Connecticut.
Oh, very cool.
I think Mike and Alex would be great, and then I do want a woman, so Levine looks good. There are other couple women, they weren't quite as strong, a little more interest. This Ammon Doman does say he's a music teacher, piano, and he manages a studio, so that gives you a little bit of different than theater. This Jared Garrett has done a lot of publishing, a lot of speaking, podcasts, things like that, audiobooks. So I guess I'm looking for maybe, okay, I've got Mike, Levine, Mike, and Alex. I'm maybe looking for one more recommendation from you guys. Let's see, there's Scott Swain, Ammon, Lucy, Barbara, Ron. Are Ron and Jared related? They're both Garrett. Maybe not. They're like different handles. One looks like it's,
Mature in the, the people arts. Do you know him? I don't know that he's an artist per se.
yeah, he's an English professor, which,
But, it's very simple, but I'm impressed by Barb Cooper.
let's look at hers.
She's recently retired as an RN. She's had leadership positions. She lives in Orem. She worked at Robert's Craft. She's lived in Orem since '86.
Might be nice to have another woman to choose from.
4 daughters. She's got the passion. That's what that speaks passion and like you mentioned, availability. She's retired and she's eager to get involved and give back.
Okay.
She says that in those same
Okay.
words. So.
Well, and I'm happy to have 2 women to put forth. Okay, so unless there's someone here that you think I'm missing, if I do Barb, Levine, Alex, Mike
Would that be
Ramsey,
where you have
and-
Levine and Alex? Or does it matter?
What do you mean?
Both UVU?
Oh, I don't think that's a problem. It's a big university. And Michael Smith, if I put forth those 5, are you agreeable with those? I mean, I think they're all good. I'm just,
What was the 5th one?
Michael Smith, Alex Malone, Mike Ramsey, Levine, and
Mike Ramsey.
Barb Cooper. And then we'll kind of see who's available, and then we can narrow it down maybe to 4 instead of all these 5. But are you guys okay? I'm comfortable. It looks like on your recommendations as well as your applications, I don't see any red flags. How about you? Are you comfortable?
Those are solid.
Good with
Okay. Do you want, to give these, did you write this down?
Why don't you take that set home in case you want it?
Okay.
And I can reach out and see if they have scheduling or other challenges that maybe would bother them.
How many
And-
vacancies are we filling?
We have 5, but Cindy Clark recruited Anna Davies, I'm not sure exactly how to say it, from Timpanogos High School, who's an art teacher there, and thought that she would be an excellent person to kind of pick up the banner of Orem Stories and keep that project moving forward. We do have Orem Stories in the library right now, but if you have time on your way out, Cindy Clark also has a full exhibit in the children's
I saw
library,
Cindy's.
and it's great. It's really
Remind me
beautiful,
yourself,
beautiful
Amy, it's
pieces.
like wax
And caustic,
and caustic, that's it.
but it's a great exhibit. People have really enjoyed it, and it's in the children's wing. Starts kind of close up by the entrance, and then there's more as you go back towards the windows.
So we thought we would reserve this, that one seat, and then have the other 4, so
Was it good?
I think it'd be good, okay. Thank you for your help, exciting, I appreciate it.
There's plenty of food here, Adam. If you could,
I didn't
Use
RSVP,
some-
so I'm always like.
there's
I
Oh, there's
plenty,
plenty.
plenty of
Tell you
food.
what, if it's not all gone by the end of the meeting,
Made food to affect, right? I did bring these just for everyone, just for your fridge or whatever.
When do these tickets go on sale? Because I texted you and said I wanted 3.
Season ticket holders last year, March 31st, everyone else April 1st.
Okay.
The stuff that's been coming out on Facebook has been exciting to see, which has just been these, I'm sure.
Thanks
But
for lunch.
thanks for coming.
I'm actually very excited about your season. Are you gonna have the Oak Ridge Boys back?
Yeah, they're back. They're just on last season ticket, so we're making good on last season.
Yeah, I was looking through myself going, oh, didn't use that one.
So keep it, those tickets will still be good. They'll just scan them at the gate.
in one of those years where we see multiple versions of the same show, we're seeing Sound of Music down at Shakespeare this year. Then we'll go see it out at the show.
SpongeBob musical, now that will be interesting.
So your first gut reaction on that is
Yours is gonna be.
kids, right? But this actually, it did really well on Broadway. It won a Tony. And they really brought in the best of the best in the music industry, like the top 40 artists.
You know,
and made the soundtrack.
all I can hear is the song. Live in a pineapple under the
Oh,
tree,
that one.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
No, let me, so I can never remember stuff. Let me just tell you here. In fact, if you go to our website and click on the shell and then go to SpongeBob, we have the whole soundtrack on there for you to listen
For
to.
these new songs, or are they from the show?
No, this is who they brought together to make the soundtrack. Yolanda Adams, Steven Tyler, Joe Perry of Aerosmith, Sarah Bareilles,
Oh, wow.
Big Alexander Ebert, Andrew Sharp, the Magnetic Zeros, the Flaming Lips, Lady A, Cyndi Lauper, John Legend, Plain White Tees, They Might Be Giants, anyway, it goes on and on, David Bowie. So that's the soundtrack. Those are the people that put it, so it's a really great show. Like I said, it won a Tony. It's just barely available to community theater, so.
Well, I know a lot of High School Musical fans out there. Are we gonna get Zach to come back?
And we wanted to do that forever. We were the Utah premiere of that in about 8-9 years ago, whenever it first came out. But
What was
we
the film
kind of chose
inside?
that for the Orem Summerfest theme,
Yeah,
because the whole thing is about coming together, and it's
Orem
basically a
United.
1-hour pep rally. After the 2 years we've been through, we thought
it's a great idea.
we need to have a big, lots of confetti and fun party pep rally on the stage, so that's why we're doing that in June.
I think it sounds fun.
Sound of Music will go to BYU for Education Week after it
Yeah.
closes its show.
Love Scotty McCurry. And of course, Symphony with John Schmidt's great, Marie's great. Jefferson Starship, they had some good songs.
Is Naturally 7 an acapella group?
They are, so CBS had a show called World's Best for a few seasons. It premiered, I think, 2018 after the Super Bowl, and then it went for a few seasons. In 2019, they won that show
Okay.
as the world's best. Then they did 3 world tours with Michael Bublé as his opener. And they came back and they did a world tour with Coldplay, and now they're doing their own world tour. They're huge in the UK and in Germany and Europe, and so they're literally coming from Europe to do this show in Utah.
That'd be great.
But they're really, really good. Quincy Jones, you know, called them the world's best a cappella group. So they're pretty cool. So just like when we brought Pentatonics many years ago,
They're great.
everyone's like, who's that? And now we can say we had them win, because they're 150 to 200,000 to get in concert now. I think we'll say the same thing about 927 in about 2 or 3 years.
So I was watching I was watching Pitch Perfect 2. And if you ever watch that, in the end, they have this it's the World Acapella Championship. And the Canadian group is Pentatonics. They're up there and I'm going, yeah, this is back before they were
And then
famous.
the Israeli group was Ed Masala.
The funny thing is, when we had Pentatonics, I think we paid them $5,000 or something. And flew them up here, took them to Outback for dinner, and they're like, "You're paying? This is so cool! Wow!" And now, again, you can't touch them. But
That was the original cast, right?
uh-huh.
Because they've swapped out.
I think they did something with BOE-TV too. They did something
Did
on,
they?
yeah. I've seen them on.
Under the Stars kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
So
right.
that was really good.
So Naturally Seven, they're on the current Cheerios commercial. Their voices.
Oh,
But anyway, it'll be fun. Sorry, I didn't mean to take so much time, but
no, I think
No, we actually.
I think you're under other.
Organically moved to the other item agenda.
oh,
Thank you for doing that.
I'm sorry I was late.
That's okay.
So, update on, or report on the Sweetheart Serenade Senior. We had a turnout, I counted 61.
Oh, I counted 92.
You really?
Oh, yeah. I think I put 92 because I was counting, but,
But I was performing also.
I'm gonna go with your numbers.
well, I mean, we had like one big family come in and they stayed for a bit and then their kids
Yeah.
needed to go, but I counted them but I felt good about my 92. I don't inflate the number, so
Yeah, I was paying attention to Carl directing us for most of it.
We had plans to come, but then my dad had a problem at night, so.
I received, since I was the host as well, I received lots of compliments from people I didn't know, saying this was a really good idea. And did you?
it was fun. People seemed to enjoy it. Definitely, I think people came in just for what the program was, and they had the music. It always makes me nervous when we have people climb up those stairs onto the stage because the stair doesn't have a handrail, because code in a theater doesn't require a handrail there because it blocks the vision. So if they call people up next time, maybe we have them come up the sides or have someone there to maybe give ladies, because there were a couple of older people that maybe needed a little bit of extra, but so sometimes people came up from the audience and sang with the group on the stage, and other times the audience just sang in their seats, but.
And we had in the barbershop lingo, a very large quartet of about, 12 people that went down and sang a love song to somebody who said, who has somebody that they need a love song sent to raise their hand, so they,
Oh, sweet.
my daughter was one of those that was in that.
So is this something we want to do annually? Something we could do every year?
Good about, what happened there, or is this something?
Yeah, I thought it was a win.
I would talk with the, plan it a little better, because trying to teach barbershop for 30 minutes was, yeah. I'd adjust the format of what went on stage a little bit, but I think it was a good success and something that we could pursue. And because we have perpetual license for the music, it's like a like zero cost for any future events.
Yeah, I think just more advertising and more people coming out to live events, and I think people would come out again.
Yeah.
People like to sing, so.
And those that, you know, you'll gain a little bit, you know, each time somebody said, yeah, I went to that last year and it was really good.
Plus, I think the Valentine's time period kind of lends itself to this format.
Yeah, that's my initial proposal to the council for this was, okay, we need to steer clear of other big events like Christmas, where there are Messiah singings all over the place.
Right.
And kind of have it separated from the summer concert series. And then the Barbershop Harmony Society published this songbook of Valentine songs,
That's
love
great.
songs. And it's like, oh, and they had the $200 and you can print as many copies of sheet music and distribute learning tracks in perpetuity. So it could be an annual event with just the same licensing.
I liked
And it's
it.
like, this is like a perfect storm. I've seen so many studies that have shown that doing music together promotes social behavior. Favorite one is they took 4-year-olds and had them wake the frogs around a simulated lake, just like a playmat. And the ones that did the rhythm exercise were 30 to 40% more likely to help the other kids when the researchers left the room. It's just amazing that
Oh, yeah.
group participation in music activities promotes social behavior.
Great. The Summerfest is moving forward. We don't really advertise for groups anymore. We kind of reach out. Acting Up is always good to come. They bring a great audience. I talked to Dave Blackington yesterday, and we were approached by one of the, I can't remember exactly the name of the group, but it's kind of an alumni group from BYU, and he was part of that group for 30 years. So even before I knew that Dave was in it, they'd wanted to come and perform, and they weren't worried about, like an audience, because they're going to bring a lot of audience with them.
Is it singing or dancing or what?
It's wind instruments. So we have a few slots to fill. The challenge of opening it for application is we just don't have enough slots really, because they program children's programming on the stage during the Summerfest, which is responsive to what the community wanted. And then they have Orem's Got Talent, which takes up a good chunk of time on Friday with the sound check, and then Friday night. So if we need to go out for applications for Summerfest, we will, but we're kind of just filling slots with groups that have reached out in the past and other new ones that come up. And then we will open the summer concert series applications in April, so we can fill the the concerts for the Monday nights in July through the middle of August. And I talked to Dave Blackington yesterday about that, and he would like to continue to work on that program, and we can just reach out and see who wants to be part of the selection group. Unless anybody wants to say now, we're gonna get applications, and then it's possible that we could get it all wrapped up before the next Arts Council meeting, so it would just be one of those small group kind of discussion things. And
Happy
Dave,
to help, even though I'm
Dave
not
said he would,
trained in the position, I can-
Dave said he would help with that.
I've helped before, I'm happy to help again.
Okay, great. So that's really all that I have with that. And the success of Orem Stories, Cindy worked with Sharon to send notes out to the principals with that. And it was a good year for that. There's still one group up, but they rotated through the schools and had them on display. So that was a really good group. That's really all that I have in terms of other things. I don't know at what point Scott Swain might bring a proposal to the Arts Council, whether he's a member or just community member. Has he talked to you about Saturdays in SCERA Park?
No, but I watched on the council meeting, and I was so glad Debbie spoke up and said, can we just add that to what we're already doing rather than do something else?
And I talked to him after the meeting and wondered if we could incorporate it with the farmer's market, but I mean, whatever sounds the best. The farmer's market's been looking for a music component, but I'm not sure if he'll be bringing something forward, but that's really all that I have for now. We'll do the state grant again and hopefully get what they give us, which is about $3,500. We've tried to bump it up and ask for different types of things, and I think we're kind of in their $2,500 to $3,500 range, but it covers the summer concerts, so that's primarily what we do with it.
So we need a bigger grant this year so we can have, Arts Council jackets.
Yeah, we could work on Arts Council jackets for
Shirts,
sure.
logos,
Yeah.
band.
Do we do anything with the winner of the Orem's Got Talent? What happens to them after they win?
They get a prize, and then I've heard that this year they're coming back to perform at Orem's Got Talent. Not
They
compete,
get like $300
but perform.
gift card or something like that, and then I think we're gonna MC our VIP or not MC, perform at our thank you banquet or, So that's what, but if they're good, then like to come and perform in the summer.
My question from last year was, can anybody enter that, or is there some vetting that?
There has definitely been a call for vetting by Shelley Seastrand and others on the Summerfest committee.
Well, just from the MC perspective, that was, vetting would be appreciated.
There's a couple, we'll call them comedians, I don't know if that's what you call them, but that were painful.
So,
It's
I know
even
they-
more painful to follow it. In some way, right?
I know that Shelley and others expressed concern about maybe doing a little bit more selective, and there was some concern about having groups
Do multiple
compete
things.
in multiple areas, like as a single and then as a family or something like that. So
Well, and even some of the groups doing more than one number, I was getting very stressed by the length they were taking, So, to me, it's like 5 minutes you go and then you're done. Maybe I'm instance, to me it was more than an hour and a half. To me, it was becoming very difficult and painful. And I don't know how long we went last year, but there were a few acts that were, get down, get your song, and make it happen. Others, they kept
Just
going.
the production value just was all over the map, right?
Yeah.
Too, and
It was.
so I just wondered if vetting was there, and then who, you know, I think there's an opportunity too with the judges. I don't know how they get picked or who picks them, but it would be kind of fun to have Miss Orem and the mayor and, you know, just kind of have some.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure how they pick the judges.
In the past, this is whoever volunteered, and I've been one who volunteered. The one year that we had all the young Orem candidates, Miss Orems, whatever, it skewed the vote too much. Does that make sense? Because there was me and all the young. And so they really went for the
What,
cute
you're saying
boys.
you're not young? Is that what you're saying?
Not 20. And their picks were more of the young men that were cute and their age. Not saying they weren't talented. So, then I think, I just asked her to get a more diverse, you know, cross-section, which I think a Miss Orem cat would be just fine. Because they usually have talent. I usually run it when I'm out of town this year. But someone, the mayor, would be fine, or someone else.
Or, yeah, just, I don't know, just some, maybe even some local Orem, well-known people,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Shelley, I'm sure, would be open to any suggestions. She's pretty good about that. So, and I know Jessie Bailey, you know, who's was one who kind of helped get it going. She was Miss Utah. I'm sure would be someone who could come back and help you, or judge, or, you know.
Are you emceeing again this year?
She asked me to, I'm still figuring out scheduling.
It's such a bit. I mean, it's a big job, and you did a great job because
Oh,
it was
yeah.
a lot of things being thrown in.
Your dad jokes were good.
Yeah, we need something different than dad jokes, but
I say,
I didn't know what to expect. I had never done it before and been able to attend, but.
my advice to her would just be tighten it up a little bit, shorten it. It's better. It's not more is better. It's less is better, probably.
Yeah, I think they definitely thought that perhaps including the comedian would maybe help resolve part of the ongoing request to be included, but I don't know if that satisfied it or if it will just magnify it in the future. I don't know.
Well, there would need to be some screening because that was just painful. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's so.
I didn't know where to. You know, usually you're so uncomfortable, you don't know where to look, what to do. You know, that's how I was feeling.
They've definitely received that feedback from multiple areas. So.
But the winners are always quite talented. So I mean, I think we always get to the right people. So.
Anything else or anything you'd like for the next meeting?
Our next meeting's in May.
Our next meeting's on May 20th. I will probably be here. That's the library conference weekend, but if not, someone else will be here from staff. But
Be excused, that's Jefferson Starship.
woo woo.
A busy day.
If I had to reschedule it based on not being here for the library conference, if I sent out a poll for people on a better date, would that be a problem?
In May?
We're just up in Layton for the library conference, so I can't really run back that easily if I start the morning there and run back for Arts Council. But
I'm gone the week before that.
I am too. I could do May 6th. Friday.
Going back to the Washington DC open house.
nice. I will look at some options and see if somebody can take my place here, if I can do that. But and then Sharon did ask me to get a motion to adjourn when you're ready, even though it's not an official quorum, but just.
We have a motion to adjourn.
A motion.
Second.
Thank you for your input on these. I really appreciate that.
You'll let us know then when the May is.
Yes, I will. Thank you so much.
It's always hard, you know, it would be cool if the winner of the contest had more opportunities, but then if they're not great, you still have to give them those opportunities. So that's.
Well, I think the winner is generally skilled enough that it's pretty obvious that they have talent.
Should we have the winner be judge in the next year?
Well, some of them have competed multiple years and won multiple years. What was his name? Oh, we invited him to come to the Summerfest and he did a good job, but he was one of the young men and he was a good singer. Why can't I remember his name right this second?
It wasn't Scotty McCurry. We didn't have him last year.
No.
But that guy can sing low. He's got the most beautiful bass tones I've ever heard.